This is KFSM TV, Channel 5, Fort Smith.
Thank you for joining us for this very special edition of the 5 News Vault. I'm Darren Bobb. Every year, of course, the hustle and bustle of the holiday season slows down on Christmas Day. It's a time for giving. It's a time for family and reflection. Tonight, in place of our regular newscast, we're going to take you through the decades, looking back at all our coverage around the holidays. We hope you enjoy it.
This is not a commercial Christmas tree standing near the altar of the Rogers Central United Methodist Church. It is a Chrismon tree, whose ornaments are what make it special. For those unfamiliar with the term, Chrismon is derived from the two words Christian and monogram. Therefore, the ornaments found here are biblical in nature, right down to what its creator, Irma Whitehorn, calls the parable balls.
This one is a sunball. It represents, I am the vine and you are my branches. Okay. This is a kingdom ball, has a pearl of great price in it. There's one special one that's just solid gold, has nothing on it at all, because no one has seen God. So we have no real vision of God. But because of His majesty, we put one solid gold ball on the tree.
There are symbols of the church seasons, such as this scroll representing Advent, or the butterfly, symbolic of the rebirth of Easter, each one in white and gold, white for purity, gold for majesty. This is the 10th Chrismon tree to be erected at this church, and after the Chrismons are removed, the tree will remain here.
After Christmas, we'll cut all the limbs off. The first Sunday in Lent, there will be an old rugged cross built just from the trunk of this tree. Then on Easter Sunday morning, it will be covered with ivy and Easter lilies, which represents Christ's rebirth.
With a look at a very traditional evergreen in Rogers, Mike Thomas reporting for the News People.
Celebrating God's birthday. Jesus' birthday. Christmas is Jesus' birthday.
And while many of the kids we talked to are looking forward to opening their presents Christmas morning, a few of the kids told me that it's better to give than receive.
Get stuff to people. I get presents to people and all that.
I think it's about Jesus and not really nothing about the presents.
But of course, Santa wasn't far from our little talks. Literally. One little guy told me his family leaves a key in the door so jolly old St. Nick can get in.
That's why we don't have a chimney.
Really?
My mom wants a chimney, don't you, Mama? And Santa.
That last little boy needed a little help from off camera as he tried to decide what he likes most about Christmas.
11 years ago, Brenda Moore started organizing a Christmas dinner. And this Christmas, she was reminded of why she's doing it.
I went out on a run this morning, and I walked inside this house, very cold house, with little kids. I had nothing, and that's what made me want to do what I do.
And she has dozens of volunteers doing the same thing. Many, like Pete Stevenson, have families, but they're far away.
This is the year when our children are at the in-laws, so we are by ourselves, and we thought we'd just come down and do some help.
So they're helping, whether they're serving up food, packing up boxes, or distributing gifts. Thousands will see the fruits of their labor.
We'll probably end up covering 5,000 to 6,000.
Now, one common misconception is that this event is only for people who can't afford to have holiday dinners. It's also for people who are working on the holidays, such as police officers, firefighters, and Channel 5 reporters.
Kim Botteren's whole family is here, both young and old.
My older kids are here working today, and I've got my grandkids here, and hopefully they'll learn from that.
She's hoping they'll learn from example and feel the same way Jack Massimino does about his work here.
What better way to spend a Christmas? Helping people that need company or need assistance in any way.
Because in the words of one volunteer,
Christmas isn't what you get, it's what you can give.
And everyone here is doing just that. In Bentonville, Kara Kumari for 5 News.
okay?
Most kids have a hard time getting excited about getting clothes for Christmas, but that wasn't the case last night. Thanks to the Springdale Jaycees, these children each had about $35 to spend at Walmart, and the only condition was that they had to spend it on clothes. Nobody complained.
Go stand in front of the mirror and see what you think.
Move my way to see. Like it now?
Is that pretty?
Think it's
Yeah.
okay. Hey, I'll take blue. No, no.
From Walmart, the children moved on to the National Guard Armory, donated for the night for a free Christmas meal and party, and then a visit with Santa.
Have you been a good little girl this year? Merry Christmas. What else do we have for Jenna? Is that cute? Give Santa Claus a kiss. Oh, thank you. Bye.
The Christmas shopping tour is the Springdale Jaycees' main local project. Its scope has grown steadily over the past 14 years, but Dennis Parsons says the guiding purpose hasn't changed.
Bottom line in our creed is that service to humanity is the best work of life.
For the children, there was plenty to be happy about this Christmas, but the Jaycees and those who helped them may have gotten the best Christmas gift of all, the chance to see the smile on a child's face. In Springdale, this is Steve Voorhees reporting for the News People. Merry Christmas.
Gloria, Gloria, peace and goodwill to all men. Gloria, Gloria, glory to God on high. Gloria, Gloria, glory to God on high. Rejoice, ye people of every land, come to the manger stall. Oh, see this child of Bethlehem, for he is the Savior, blessed Redeemer, he is the Lord of the sun. Gloria, Gloria, glory to God on high. Gloria, Gloria, glory to God on high. Rise and shine, your light has come. Praise the chosen one. Gloria. Lift up your hearts, you weary soul. The time of your suffering is over. The God of Isaac and Abraham is living within us.
Despite a slow start in November, Christmas sales are picking up and are expected to be better than last year. Economists are depending on a big December to pick up the drooping economy, and if Northwest Arkansas is any indication, that is exactly what is happening.
Business is very good. We're doing wonderful. This is our first year out here. We have all of the best animals, the best bears, and every animal you could possibly hope for.
With the bad weather last week, crowds were thin at area shopping centers, but with the thaw, customers warmed up to the Christmas buying spirit. Of course, the most frequently bought items are children's toys. With the influx of the more sophisticated and expensive toys, such as robots, more money is injected into the flagging economy. And right now, robots are one of the hottest selling toys around, along with Old Faithful, the Cabbage Patch Doll. In Fayetteville, I'm Bill Roselle for the News People.
One way to ask for that special Christmas gift is writing a letter to Santa Claus, and the way to do that nowadays seems to be with a computer. The electronic magic machine is again a hot item on St. Nick's list.
Computer sales are real good this year. People are coming in and they're looking at the machines. People are buying them for both home use and business use. A lot of people real interested in them.
That's not the case at all computer companies, however. Some have noticed declining sales because of phased-out models. But Vaughn says there is vigorous buying, and one reason is the introduction of computers at school.
A lot of the parents that come in are more aware that computers are being taught in schools, and parents are wanting to get their children more acquainted with computers at home.
And what's selling is not only $200 keyboards. Vaughn says some are shelling out $1,000 for the entire unit, and that price is down from last year, where this same system went for about $1,800. The big plus here, people in the market for a computer, either for home or office, can now buy bigger and better units for less money. And if that trend continues, Vaughn says the sales boom will continue as well. In Fayetteville, Wes Mills for the News People.
Robin Amenrud. Remember Robin? She used to work for TV5. And anyway, Robin works for a TV station in Fargo, North Dakota now. She's a consumer reporter, which means she does things like this. She wrapped up 3 identical boxes of cookies and sent them all to me. Pretty good deal, huh? She wanted to know who has the best delivery service, so she sent the 3 boxes 3 different ways. Federal Express 2-day service, Emory 2-day service, and the good old post office. Here's what they all cost. The mail was cheapest, Emory the most expensive. But it turned out Emory was also the fastest. Their package arrived in 2 days at a little after 10 o'clock in the morning. We tore open the package and found that a few of the cookies were broken, but most arrived undamaged. Of course, if Robin had been shipping glass or crockery, most probably wouldn't be good enough. Next to arrive was the FedEx package about 2 hours later the same day. Only one of the 35 cookies was broken, which impressed everybody here. We all said so between bites. Okay, look what we got in the mail. It was 2 more days before we got the cookies that were sent through the mail. And how did they survive the trip? Well, Emory broke more, but FedEx broke less. So, what's the best way to ship? For price and quality, Federal Express looks like the best buy, but it still depends on what you're sending and how fast you want it to get there. In Fayetteville, this is Steve Voorhees reporting for the News People.
It's called the second annual Yule Fest Fair, just in time for the holidays. It offers everything from toys to teas to tables of trinkets, but what amazes me is what a person can find here if he looks close enough. This little bag of what appears to be toasted oat cereal is actually donut seeds, and you thought they came from your local bakery. Or, if you're in the market for a clock, there is plenty of those as well, in a variety of shapes and sizes and definitely styles. And while shoppers were in abundance, they weren't buying.
Not as many as I'd like to, but there are a lot out, especially since it's after Thanksgiving now.
It's been slow.
Well, I can't say the same because I've done real well. And they've remarked around here, too, that I've done good, and I have.
Since it is the Christmas season, there have to be Yuletide gifts, such as reindeer, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, of course, a Santa goose, and for the sweet tooth, St. Nick on a stick. But what's the real treat here are the artists at work, with their nimble fingers stitching crafts or delicately finishing a Christmas treasure for some lucky shopper. In Springdale, Wes Mills for the News People.
When you looked at Fayetteville today from Mount Sequoia, you got the impression that not much was going on. Then again, you can't see a whole lot through fog. But when you come down from the mountain and look at the city streets, you see what the residents see.
Well, it's kind of peaceful. Nobody around, it's cold, it's neat, it's pretty.
One of the main reasons the city is dead is because the campus is empty, the dorms are closed, the stoplight at Maple and Garland is clear, and the only sign of life is a tipped-over trash can on campus. A lot of people in Fayetteville wouldn't have jobs if it weren't for the students, but even residents need a break.
This is a time us residents live for. When it is this quiet, you can get a parking place, you can go in a restaurant and get a table, and you know, that kind of stuff. It's a nice break.
Well, I really like it being quiet. I like driving around and not worrying about the traffic at all. And
not only is the campus empty, but Dixon Street and the square are unusually quiet.
Well, it was a toss-up between coming to the square or going to the mall. We thought the mall would be too crowded, so we came here, and we were able to pull right in front of the store we wanted to shop in.
For people who want action, there was the mall and the road to Dallas. But when you have time to get away from the hustle and bustle of the big city, why would you want to? Reporting from Fayetteville, I'm Greg Lee for the News People.
The chat trucks are loaded, the snow plows are ready, all the trucks are gassed up and ready to go. All that's missing is the snow. As the rush hour traffic began to flow this evening, the freezing rain and snow still hadn't materialized, but city, county, and state road crews were ready anyway. The Highway Department has about 9 chat trucks and half a dozen snow plows spread around Washington County. Their job is to keep the main highways open as best they can. Everyone knows there are too many miles and not enough trucks.
We'll start off with the chat trucks, and then as the snow accumulates, if it snows, it does, we'll send the snow plows out and stuff and start plowing the snow off. We just, you know, try to keep them safe. There's no way we could, you know, if it comes real fast, we could keep it from clear, but if we just keep it safe and traffic moving, you know.
In Fayetteville, half the road crew will be working on night shifts tonight, facing a long, cold battle with steep hills and slick roads. It's not something you look forward to.
When you heard the forecast for the weather tonight, what'd you think?
Scared me to
death. The city's 4 chat trucks spread a finer mix of rock salt and crushed limestone than most other road crews. Workers say this chat is easier to clean up, and the smaller stones are less likely to damage cars. Other than that, Fayetteville workers face much the same job and the same problems. They do what they can to keep the main roads passable and hope most drivers have enough common sense to stay home. In Fayetteville, this is Steve Voorhees reporting for the News People.
Life is beginning to return to normal, but many of us may be feeling the effects of the storm long after the snow is gone. Steve Voorhees is standing by in Fayetteville. Steve, where will we be feeling the storm the most?
Burr, in our wallets. Raindrops may be pennies from heaven, but when the snowflakes start to fall, we all start to pay. The fact is, a winter storm is expensive. Take your car, for example. There were literally dozens of car wrecks in northwest Arkansas yesterday, and even more simple breakdowns. The cost to the drivers involved could be as little as a lift from a wrecker truck, or it could involve an extended visit to a mechanic or to the local body shop. One body shop manager says he expects business to at least double any time we have a winter storm.
Normal months runs about 40,000. A month like this, we run up to 60, 70,000 easy. We see a lot of minor wrecks and see as many major wrecks to do minor. It's more expensive all the time because they build them with so much plastic.
Even when your insurance covers the damage, if you were at fault, a relatively small wreck can still raise your premiums from 5 to 10% for the next 3 years. Then there are utilities. Winter storms mean freezing temperatures, and that means higher heating bills. People's gas furnaces were kicking on like crazy yesterday. Arkansas Western Gas sold 116 million cubic feet of natural gas to homes and businesses, more than double what they were selling on a typical day last month. And electrical use jumped almost as drastically. Then there are the civic costs. Area road departments spent several $1,000s spreading chat and de-icer on city streets between Sunday and today. Add another couple thousand for overtime for the road crews. But here the biggest cost may not be felt until the spring, when it's time to repair the street damage caused by the ice and snow. So Burr, while the snow is nice enough to look at, I think the real question is, can we afford it?
What can we do? We've got to, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Thanks, Steve.
There's nothing better on a cold winter's day than a nice fire in the fireplace. Or is there? Actually, in the last few years, crackling wood fires have been getting a bad reputation.
The problem is with most old-fashioned fireplaces that most of the heat goes out the chimney along with the wood smoke, and that wood smoke is a problem too. It may smell nice, but it's anything but good for you.
The fact is that wood smoke can be as bad for you and your environment as any industrial pollution. That's why you're starting to see fireplaces that look like this. The Environmental Protection Agency stepped in a few years ago and started cleaning up wood stoves and fireplaces. Nowadays, just about anything you buy to burn wood will burn it cleaner and hotter, and it'll look better too.
You have a protected view of the fire that's clear without spark problems or smoke spillage into the room.
Of course, there's a catch. The new stoves and fireplaces put out a lot more heat, but you have to put out a lot more money to pay for them. But Bill Oviatt says that doesn't seem to bother people. Sales of the new stoves keep going up, along with the sale of firewood. So far, Oviatt says he's sold 500 ricks of wood this season, and it's only just starting to get cold. In Springdale, this is Steve Voorhees reporting for the News People.
The glitter on your Christmas tree has all but dwindled to a shimmer, and the needles have died much like the holiday spirit. Now what do you do with it? There goes a $30 bush, crimped and trimmed during the holidays. But the end seems fitting. Give a little back to nature. Beaver Lake was formed in the 60s, and since then some of the natural shelters have deteriorated. So some of these former Yuletide trees have been bundled together, creating a safe haven for younger and smaller fish.
Ecologically, it's good management, we think. These Christmas trees are anchored out there, and they attract the little fish and maybe support their survival. And
not only does it offer refuge, but the 60 bundles placed in the lake today makes an ideal spot to cast a line in the springtime.
And a lot of people come by the office to pick up these maps that we have these fish attractors located on the maps as best we can. I don't mean you're going to go out there and stop your boat and be right on one of them. But
about 350 pines were collected at various drop-off points in northwest Arkansas by the Corps of Engineers, a project they plan to continue, hopefully expanding and improving good fishing. Near Beaver Lake, Wes Mills for the News People.
We hope you've enjoyed our dive into the 5 News Vault. And before we go, from everyone here at 5 News, we're wishing you love, light, and laughter for Christmas and the New Year. We'll end with a very special message from some 5 News alumni from back in 1984. Merry Christmas, everyone.
From everyone at the Channel 5 Northwest Arkansas studios, we'd like to say, Merry Christmas!
I got it, huh?